Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This episode we are addressing the remainder of the things we need to do in order to strip the whole body back off in order to paint the chassis. But in order to get started on that, I actually do have to take the body back off in order to address these roll bars. So we have two things that work here. So one, we went up with a body 3/4 of an inch. The other one is that I want this to be as conforming to the frame as possible. So the 8 pillars, I want that bar to go all the way up into the corner, into the recess, and then have a angle that drops it down onto the same bar that it's mounted to right now. So we're gonna take the body off, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut out that roll cage section from the front here all the way to the main hoop. And I do have a new tubing bender over there. So once we get that done, we'll go ahead and start bending up some new tubing, starting with this front piece and then doing the 2 links to the back. Let's get started taking off the body. Well, the camera died while I was recording this. So body's off, and now I'm gonna cut it. So let's bring you guys back here so I can show you where we're cutting. All right, so we gotta cut it right here. There's this cross brace right here. We gotta cut that too. And then back here, got to cut all these welds on this piece of sheet metal here. And let me see. Yeah, there's a second reinforcement for funds. So cut this off. I'll probably just cut it right here so we can get at that front bar right now, and then worry about grinding this off carefully in a bit. I brought this section that we cut out down here because I had this weird suspicion that if this had been done right, it is completely flush with those pillars. So we just got to replicate this guy and then just change the bends on the front side. That way this will match up with the chassis, and then we can weld it all together. So it's cool, good to know. Let's go ahead and clean this up. We'll also remove these tabs. These were for the dash. We're gonna do something different that's doesn't require this heavy dash mount. So I'll go ahead and cut all this off, and then we'll grind it flat, and then we can start on the back arch right here, removing all that top metal. All right, I'm gonna cut one of these pipes down. I'm gonna go ahead, cut one of these pieces of tubing down, and then chuck it up in here, start bending it. So we need a 70 degree at the top, and then we're gonna go and mount an old piece down here, and then put those last two bends, dropping it down. So let's go ahead and bend those first two corners, and then we can get the rest of it done after we fit it back in there, make sure everything's lining up right. So I went ahead, got those two bends in, we put one bend here in the middle, just to bring it up into the curvature. So I'm gonna put in place, make sure it's all good, and mark up the start of our bend for bending down, and move on to that. Right in the middle. Is looking really good. Yeah, looking really, really good. Alright, looks good on the top part all the way down through here. So I left these ends long. So we're going to take and cut 6 inches off both sides and keep going back and forth, notching it down until it fits in there. Well, so I'm gonna have to remake that. What happened was right here, I miscalculated the distance. So this needs to go out another inch and it needs to be 45 degrees. And then once we do that on the new piece, it should be good. So I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow, remake the piece. Otherwise, it was looking beautiful. The top, the side angles, it was just the drop angles were off. So, like I said, inch further out, and then it should be perfect. I got it trimmed down where it's fitting pretty darn good. So, let's put it in here, clamp it in place. That's gonna be good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and weld it in place. Hoping you guys can see just how much of a difference that made in where this is positioned. It is snugged up here tight. So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the body back off and then cut the back bars and the supports, and then take and do new links that fall in the cavity right in here. That way they're also up about 1.5 inches higher than they are right now. That way we get a little more headroom and it all gets cleared up, and then it's perfect. So body off and more cutting. got this all cleaned up. So now we need to redo these bars, but they're gonna go up, bend, back down. So I think it's a 10 degree or so in the back, maybe a 5 in the front. We'll see as we get it fed up. So this needs to be 30 inches. All right. I have 3 10-degree bends in here. One up front as close as we could get it, one in the middle, and one towards the end. So a total of 30 degrees bend, creating a little bit of an arc. Now I'm gonna notch it using this 1.75" tubing notcher on both sides, and set it in place, put the body back on, and make sure it still works. Give this guy a test fit. That's gonna be good. So let's make one more. As you guys can see, that is very nicely conformed to the inside here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack it in place. Gotta move it out this way, move it out that way, and then tack it. Well, I couldn't have asked for it to look better. It is completely conforming to the curvature in here, up front, and perfectly in the back. So, looking real good. Well, we'll get back on other projects, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.